Hi everyone, Haley here from The Foiled Plan. Today I'm so excited to be sharing with you how I customize this pool floatie. Over the next little while, I'm going to be sharing lots of bridal related content because over the past couple of years, a few of my friends have either gotten engaged or got married. And then, as you may or may not know, Brady and I also eloped. So there's been a lot of fun bridal related DIYs and I can't wait to share them all with you. I'm even going to create a playlist so you can see them all in one place, and I'll be sure to link that below. So let's get started. There's a handful of things you'll need to create this project, so let's go over supplies needed. Of course, you'll need the inflatable pool floatie. I scooped this one up from Walmart and it was pretty inexpensive. I'm using my Cricut Explore Air 2 along with my laptop to access Cricut Design Space. And then for vinyl, I'm using Oracle 651, which is considered a permanent grade adhesive vinyl. I'm using white and pink for that. I'm using masking transfer tape, parchment paper for layering, plus rubbing alcohol and a lint-free cloth to prep my surface for application. And then for tools, I'm using my scissors, weeding tool, and a scraper. So when I pulled the floatie out of the box to start making this project, I was like, what the heck is this? Because from the picture on the box, I was expecting the brownish tones to be the more dominant color on here, but I don't see any brown whatsoever. It's definitely more of like a light gray, but it is what it is. We got to work with it. Then I just adjusted the size of the design to be something more fitting for the size of inflatable I'm using. You can use a measuring tape for that, or you can do what I did. Just check the sizing on the box and that should hopefully give you an idea of the size of design you should be working with. Anywho, I added the offset to it and then I went in and adjusted the colors of the layers so I could kind of have a better visualization of what the end product was going to look like. And then I just hit the make it button. And because I've already adjusted the colors, once we get to this stage, it automatically sorts the colors to be on their individual mats. So now I'm going to add the Oracle 651 vinyl to my standard grip cutting mat, and this one's the 24-inch mat. And the setting that I'm using is the premium vinyl. It's the permanent glossy setting in Cricut Design Space. And it's just going to do its thing cutting, and as always we peel the mat away from the vinyl, not the other way around, to prevent the curling. And then we're going to do the same thing with the pink color. And once that's done, sometimes I find it easier to remove the negative space while the design is still on the mat. So I just trimmed off the rest of the roll that's still usable for other projects. And then I got a little cocky because it was peeling away really nicely. And that's always when disaster happens. So if you think something's going really, really well and really smoothly, just take a second, continue to go slow, so that you don't have to fix mistakes. So what had happened was this just pulled up a section that needed to be stuck down. So it can stretch really easily, the vinyl I mean, and then leave like ripples. So you don't want that. So avoid doing that, go nice and slow. See, now I'm pulling the mat away from the design and just making sure the rest of that negative space has been removed. You can use a weeding tool for this as well, but I'm just using my hands. Then I put this layer back onto the standard grip cutting mat to make the layering process much easier. And of course, I made sure that the white top layer of the design was also weeded. So I'm just going to grab a sheet of parchment paper that's roughly the same width as my overall design. And then using my masking transfer tape, I'm going to layer that on top of the top layer of the design. So it's going to overlap itself, which is totally fine. We want to pick up the whole design at once for this layer. So that's why we're overlapping it. And then I'm going to take my scraper and do some light burnishing. It picks it up pretty easily, so there's not a whole lot involved in this step. And then I flip the whole thing over and peel that backing away from the design. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but the parchment paper does not cover that whole base layer. We want to make sure there's about an inch of that base layer that's still showing and not covered by the parchment paper at the top. That's going to sort of act as our anchor point when we're layering the designs together. So now we've got the parchment paper sort of sandwiched between the two colors of vinyl, and we're just going to kind of move around until we decide exactly where that top layer is going to sit. You've got lots of wiggle room because the parchment paper is not going to stick to the vinyl or the other way around. So you can move it around until you're happy with it. I needed to cut this apart to make it exactly how I wanted it. So sometimes you just have to go with the flow on these things, and then give it some light burnishing and slowly pull that parchment paper down towards the bottom until it's completely removed from between, and just do some more burnishing. So it should all be perfectly stuck together now as one layer. And because I did cut apart that top layer, I did go ahead and add some extra masking transfer tape across the whole piece just to make sure it was all going to lift up as one single unit. Then I decided I did not want to blow up this inflatable by myself because I'd probably pass out and I was home alone. So I grabbed my balloon pump. The amount of times this thing has come in handy is like beyond me. It's wild. I have this linked in my Amazon shop if you want to scoop one for yourself, but very handy. Anyways, I blew this up because I wanted to make sure the material was as taut as possible as I was applying it, and so I could see exactly where it was going to sit once I applied it. Then I just cleaned the surface with my rubbing alcohol in a little spray bottle and a lint-free cloth. I picked up the entire design by the masking transfer tape, and I started by applying the bottom of the letters first and then slowly wrapping the design around the floatie with my hand until everything was placed down. I used my scraper to do some burnishing and then gently started to peel back the masking transfer tape. And it came off in layers as expected because I had many layers on there. Then I just double checked that there were no air bubbles. If there were, then I used my scraper and got rid of them. And this is how it turned out. We actually used this for my friend's bachelorette party last year, which was pink and cheetah print themed. And we tied all of our pool floaties together with skipping rope so we didn't float away. And we spent the whole day, well, the floaties were out the whole day, out on the lake. And this held up great, even to this day. I'm pretty sure it's still in great condition. So it worked like a charm, and you can see the bride on the left-hand side giving us a cheers, and I'm on the far right near the top with my arms up in the air. Fun fact, I really only lasted like 30 minutes out here, and I had to go inside because I get motion sickness so easily. Anyways, thank you for checking out today's video. As I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to link the playlist for all of the bridal / bachelorette / wedding related content for DIYs all in one place. So be sure to check that out because I've got lots more to show you. I hope you have a super awesome day, and that's all I'm going to say. Bye.